Hey everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Rugby League Outlaws. As you'll notice, the big man Terry isn't with us tonight. Unfortunately, the world the way it is, I just really didn't feel like dealing with Terry tonight. He will be joining us with the top store tips, but we will press on. Welcome to the weekly wrap, brought to you moving forward by ZeroTackle.com. Of course, the big discussion point this week has been the St George Illawarra Dragons, and as a Sharks fan, it's been hilarious, but as an NRL fan, it's been very sad because look, what can be said that hasn't already been said in the media? For those that haven't seen the story, 12 or 13 Dragons allegedly broke protocol and put themselves and the game at risk. A whole heap of players are going to miss time over the next month, which is really going to put the Dragons' top 8 finals almost at rest, if not in severe danger. Paul Vaughan, perhaps their best forward, has been sacked. Third strike. He'll no longer be at the club. He won't be there to lead them moving forward, which, given his recent off-field record, might not be the worst thing possible. Look, the Dragons, to their credit, look like they've already moved on from Paul Vaughan in that they're about to announce the signing of Jaden Sewer. It's always good to get rep quality into a side, especially a side that's battling for the 8. So next year's looking better for the Red V. Speaking of Sewer, Anthony Mundine, everyone's favourite rugby league intellectuals, come on and offered his 2 cents, suggesting that the players should consider suing the club for standing them down and fining them for putting the entire competition at risk. Good old Mundine. In other big news, Tavita Pangai Jr. looks like he'll be headed to the Bulldogs as soon as by the end of the month, evidently. Look, in terms of player quality, he's exactly what the Bulldogs need, because at the moment they've got about 15 star backs and no forwards to get them over the advantage line. Not 100% sure Pangai Jr. passes the character test that the Bulldogs are after. Starting to think that perhaps they should be looking towards a culture shift rather than a quick fix. But what would I know? You know what else I know is that I'm probably not, you won't hear me say this often, the best person to talk about the next subject. Mitch Moses has been chosen to debut for New South Wales in the third Origin next week in Newcastle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw to Victoria, who is a Parramatta fan, but we won't hold that against her. What are your thoughts about Mitch Moses making his debut?
Thanks, guys. If you don't know me, my name is Victoria. You can find me over on Twitter as YadTheVic. The boys asked me to come on and talk about Mitchell Moses. Yes, Mitch Moses season, baby. Okay. Mitch Moses is going to debut for the New South Wales Blues. What? Obviously, Nathan Cleary was ruled out due to injury, and so this last week was kind of an audition for Moses, Pierce and Reynolds. Personally, with Luai also being ruled out, I would have gone Walker and Reynolds, just because I'm one of those believers that New South Wales can't win a series unless they have halves from the same club. But to add Mitch Moses to the equation, come on, at least they made it funny too. And Jack Whiten is his half partner. Jack Whiten. Did anyone watch the Canberra game on the weekend? He was dreadful. He was actually dreadful. At least Moses wasn't bad. He just lost them the chance to win the game. That's all. He wasn't bad. Anyway, in all sincerity, look, I think it's good. I think it's good fun. Moses is not a horrible player. Is he the best halfback in the game? No. But the best halfback in the game is ruled out due to injury. So, he was the next best thing. Not quite. But what's the harm in a series that's already been won, giving a guy a debut? Reynolds has played before. Pierce has played before. Let's give the debut to Moses. But like, realistically, I think you could say that Reynolds and Pierce would have reason to say that they were snubbed. But then Moses also would have had the chance to say he was potentially snubbed. The three of them all provide so much to their games and to their teams that maybe the others don't provide, but it's kind of hard to weigh them up at times. There were so many people arguing with all sincerity that Moses was the best option. And that's obviously what Fittler has decided to go with. And I think people thinking it's going to be some blowout now by Queensland just because Moses has been selected in the halves, it's a little bit ridiculous. You know, pull your head in a little bit. Many people don't like the guy, and I can see why. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's like the worst halfback in the game. He's not Chad Townsend. Ooh, sorry, I had to do it. There is stuff that he brings to games that maybe others couldn't have necessarily brought. And that's where Reynolds and him, it could have kind of gone either way. They both have phenomenal kicking games. And I don't mean goal kicking, because this is what drives you crazy. Yes, Moses missed the goal to win the game the other night, but he wouldn't have even been kicking the goals anyway. When you've got a team with Latrell Mitchell, you're not picking Moses to kick the goals, okay? So that wasn't a blow of his audition. All sincerity, I'm proud of the kid. I think it's great. Wait, I think he's older than me. Anyway, I'm proud of him. I'm very excited for what this is going to do for his game at Parramatta. Many people don't care about that, but I do. I'm a Parramatta fan. And so I think it's really going to lift his confidence. Not that I think he lacks confidence. I think he just drops off at times. But hopefully a week at camp, week around these star players is gonna help him, I think. And many people say he's not a big game player, and I still wouldn't say that this is a big game because the series is already won, but it's a big deal if New South Wales were to clean sweep. So this is a chance for him to show that he can be a big game player. And hey, maybe Parramatta will actually make it past the second week of the finals now. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Go Mitch Moses. Mitch Moses season, baby. All right, back to you guys. Bye.
Coming to us via a very expensive satellite with this week's Top Sport tips is Terry. Mate, take it away.
It's that time of the week where we do our Top Sport tips. Only 4 games this week, but our friends at Top Sport good enough to sponsor this segment for us. They're hating Dan and I at the moment. We're making some serious money with them. Just about to fund my kids through college and put on a house deposit after this week. Thursday night footy sees Manly against Canberra. I pity Canberra here. I'm going to pick Manly to cover the line. Ruben Garrick and Jason Saab to score tries. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be an absolute blowout. Manly are in some red-hot form. Even without Toby Turbo and Daly Cherry Evans, they're going to win this game quite convincingly. Friday night footy sees the Rabbits up against the Cowboys. And again, this is just one-way traffic. Rabbitohs to cover the line. I'm going to pick AJ and Campbell Graham as your try scorers. Adam Reynolds had a pretty disappointing night with the boot. I'm going to pick him to kick 100%. Cody Walker bounced back off the disappointment, not getting in the halves. He's going to get your man of the match. Saturday night footy, it's the Dogs and Roosters. I feel this one's going to be a lot closer than everyone's saying it's going to be. I don't think the Dogs are going to lose by 60. They are going to lose, though. The Roosters are going to win. Pick Daniel Tupou for as many tries as you want because he's going to have a field day. And that leaves us to Sunday afternoon footy, the game of the round. Full-strength Sharks against the Warriors. Got some injuries. No Tohu Harris, no Chad Townsend. That's a benefit for the Warriors. I am going to pick the Sharks to bounce back off their disappointing performance. I'm going to pick Atoa and Ronaldo as your anytime try scorers. Sharks 1-12, and they're going to lead half-time, full-time as well.
What's annoying Terry?
What's annoying Terry this week? Selfish rugby league players, no crowds at games, only 4 games of rugby league, Queensland about to get whitewashed. You'd think it's that, but I'm not able to record with my pal Dan or my mate Dids either, so that's what's annoying Terry this week.
Terry!
Talk to me, Dan.
Let's talk some black, white and blue, mate. What we won't be talking about, however, is what happened this past Sunday. All I remember is that Connor Tracy scored 2 tries, and it was a decent afternoon otherwise. What we will talk about, though, is the upcoming game against the Warriors. Unfortunately, no fans will be in attendance, and also, unfortunately, for the Sharks, Chad Townsend hasn't been named for the Warriors. Almost a must-win game for Cronulla this week, as we remained in the 8 purely by luck and teams performing badly around us. If that's going to be our best ammo going forward, there might be a little bit of trouble. Look, in all honesty, we should beat this side. The Warriors have a very good forward pack, which does worry me a little bit. But look, in terms of quality, 1-7, I mean, Sean Johnson's a standout half. He really needs to play well because his worst game of the season was against the Broncos. He was the 4th best half, despite being by far the highest paid half on the field. That can't happen again as we close in for the 8. The Matt Moylan injury this weekend absolutely cost us, completely sent us sideways. There was no one there to straighten the attack at any point. Hopefully Connor Tracy coming into the halves this week, which we've been calling for a couple of weeks now, just quietly, goes a long way to rectifying that. But look, in some good news for Cronulla in terms of the future, Nicho Hynes, our superstar marquee signing for next year, has been chosen in the Origin extended squad. Doesn't look like he'll get any game time, but in terms of his versatility, he's been picked as the 19th man. So if Api Coruscant is deemed not versatile enough for that 14 spot, Nicho Hynes might grab a spot on the bench real late. If not, the time in camp with those superstar players, the Tedescos, the Turbos, and to a lesser extent the halves, will do him the world of good and can only be a positive for Cronulla. Guys, I'm sure you've heard on social media now, and as you know, if you heard it on the internet, it must be true. There are rumours going around at the moment that Cam McInnes is looking to backflip on his Cronulla deal to stay with the Dragons. Look, I've checked with sources and common sense and says there's absolutely nothing to that. He will be a Shark next year. He'll probably be the captain if Wade Graham's not back, and he'll lead us to our second premiership.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. It's a different episode this week, but we've got to do what we've got to do. It was brought to you by Punctured Media. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all the socials. They really, really do appreciate the support during these tough times, and we appreciate the support that you're giving them as well, and you're giving us. Please trash us in the comments. We really appreciate it. You don't know what your slander means to Dan and I. We enjoy logging on, reading all the comments as well. So it's unbelievable, Dan. I know that Queensland are going to lose this week, and I know you've been dying to say it. So thanks for joining us, and as always,
Man, I miss Terry.